Two clubs who believe they are the game's biggest hopes of offering Wigan a realistic challenge, and they're two of the most famous names in the big league. Leeds take on St Helens, and Leeds' new boss Dean Bell watches from the stands at Headingley, which stages the top match of the day. Leeds return to the scene of their triumph on Wednesday night. A game which kept the 10,000 crowd spellbound was Leeds' best win over Warrington for 25 years. It was a win and a performance which puts them back on an even keel after their disappointment against Castleford. Leeds look ready for the Saints. Devastated was the only word to describe the St Helens camp after Wigan destroyed them on Monday. Hopes were so high, but Wigan murdered them, despite a late Saints rally that at least gave the scoreline some respectability. St Helens will take heart from that and the fact that they've won on their last 4 league visits to Headingley. But Gary Schofield is back in business for Leeds, and an injury to Tony Kemp means he plays in his favourite stand-off position today. He's the Leeds captain again, and 2 tries on Wednesday against Warrington indicate he's in the sort of form to press for a place in the World Cup. Following in the wake of Ellery Hanley is quite an act to follow, but Mike Forshaw is bedding in perfectly. 3 tries in his first 4 games in Leeds colours, a record even Hanley would have been proud of. The Saints had to make changes after Monday, and Andy Hay gets a big vote of confidence from Eric Hughes. The youngster who scored a hat-trick at Old Trafford in the Academy Cup final now has the chance to graduate to the big league. And building the platform up front will be Apollo Perolini. The Western Samoan arrived with quite a reputation. He was known as the Terminator back home and has begun this season with a bang, being Saints' most consistent performer where the going gets pretty tough. Here then are the two sides. Fullbacks Alan Tate and Steve Prescott. Wings Jim Fallon, yet to score this season, and the impressive youngster Joey Hayes. Paul Cook scored 20 points against Warrington, and he's up against Welsh international Anthony Sullivan. Centres Kevin Iro provides stiff opposition for Andy Haig. Phil Hassan deputises for the injured Craig Innes, and it's Paul Loughlin. Schofield at stand-off. Scott Gibbs is the Welsh international. Scrum half David Gibbons, a teenager, against the irrepressible Bobby Golding. Up front, Neil Harmon against the Terminator, and as Sini Familo returns, Bernard Dwyer is there to add experience to the Saints' front row. Hookers James Lowes and the outstanding young Kieran Cunningham. Second row, Kiwi against Samoan. Mercer takes on Matautia. Adrian Morley at 19 faces up to one of the best in the business in Chris Joint. And it's Mike Forshaw at loose forward for Leeds. Dean Busby, the man signed from Hull for £90,000, is on his St Helens debut. Coaches, Dean Bell has finally arrived at Headingley, and Eric Hughes. And these two have named the substitutes in the shape of, for Leeds, Francis Cummins, Marcus Vasilakopoulos, Nick Fossard and Mick Shaw. And for the Saints, it's Phil Waring, Andy Northey, Chris Morley and Ian Pickavance. So it's quite a day for Dean Bell, the new Leeds coach. He flew in from Auckland for this match, and he's here now. He is a player no more. He is the coach of Leeds. Stuart Cummins, the match referee. Quite a game this for Dean Bell to begin his coaching career. And Leeds, as you can see, are in their centenary strip, unveiled today for the first time at Headingley, and Gary Schofield gets this game underway. Quite a match in the Stones Bidder Centenary Championship season this, and Steve St Helens, after the devastation of Monday against Wigan, will want to get their season back on track.
They have to, not only for themselves but for their fans. I'm sure that coach Eric Hughes will have really put them through the mill this week. It's important they get off to a very good start. We saw against Wigan last Monday, Bobby Goulding was non-existent. He has to really inject himself a lot more, otherwise Leeds can start taking control.
That was the first touch for Dean Busby in St Helens colours. There's the first kick downfield from Bobby Goulding, and that will not run out, so Jim Fallon will have to run this ball back, and there's a wall of defenders ahead of him. Goulding was there first, Sullivan came in pretty high, and then the next 3 collar him.
Nice kick and chase though by Bobby Goulding. That's a type of leadership that he has to display. The new St Helens skipper this season, a lot is expected from the little wonder.
Sini Familo takes the tackle from Matautia, and Bernard Dwyer playing today in the unaccustomed prop forward role. Eric Hughes just hopes he adds a little experience to the front row. Leeds lucky to get away with that. The ball bounced back off us in Helen's arm in the tackle on Harmon. It's 6 more tackles to go. This is Forshaw. He's grounded by Cunningham.
Good work by the second martyr there, Kieran Cunningham. It's always important when you're facing up to the play of the ball that both markers work hard, one going one way, the other the other.
Gibbons gives it to Milo again. I must say this Headingley surface looks in absolutely magnificent condition. The pitch is like a piece of velvet. Gibbons feeds Hassan, and Hassan on the run. Oh, it was a terrible pass. It was behind the second rower Adrian Morley, and a try was begging here.
Oh, he's just gone to ground there. It was an awful pass, but what a superb piece of play from the two halfbacks. Schofield onto David Gibbons.
Schofield's high kick is collected by Steve Prescott, who collects the tackle from Mike Forshaw.
Did well there to the fullback Prescott, but what scintillating play. The combination of Schofield and onto David Gibbons. This youngster Gibbons, keep an eye out for him. He is going to be a star of the future.
Playing today because Tony Kemp has an arm injury. That's why Schofield is at standoff. Of course, all these Leeds players anxious to impress Dean Bell, the new boss. Joint gets it away to Loughlin, and Loughlin sees a gap and feeds Sullivan, and Tate will have to cut him off for the corner, but Sullivan's got him on the legs, and Sullivan scores. Plenty of pace from Anthony Sullivan. Loughlin made the break. Sullivan was there in support, and what a terrific try, and what a great start for St Helens in the shape of that Anthony Sullivan try.
Well, it all came about, didn't it, from that mistake from Phil Hassan and from the resulting scrum, the loose forward. Second row, Chris Joint, should I say, sent a beautiful pass for Loughlin. And look at this guy go. He really is in top form, Anthony Sullivan. Probably the best start to any season of his career. But they run out wide. You see that Bobby Goulding had actually gone into the standoff position. It switched with Scott Gibbs at the scrum base. That created confusion in the Leeds defence. And the way that the centre Loughlin sent this fella away, that is superb rugby league football.
Anthony Sullivan off and running. 3 tries before today, that makes 4. His 70th try in St Helens colours in 121 appearances. So Bobby Goulding, former Leeds Player of the Year, of course, here at Headingley, in his 1 season with the club, tries for the conversion. It's online, but it just doesn't have the legs. Leeds 0, the Saints 4.
Tight defence, and you can see the one that circled, failed to go into the slider. Step on the inside. It really did leave Jim Fallon exposed. And once the centre Loughlin sent out a superb pass, it was an in and out there by Sullivan. Wonderful wingman's play.
Schofield restarts, Leeds behind, and that ball goes through the legs of Joey Hayes. And it just shows you a team can be in high euphoria after scoring a try, and then you get the big mistake.
Well, he hesitated. He was going to go with it with his hands and then decided with the feet. And whilst he was thinking about that, it went right the way through him.
19 years old, Joey Hayes, big mistake, puts Leeds in possession, when really St Helens should have been running the ball back at them. As it is now, it's Fallon with that strong run.
At least it wasn't as big a mistake as the centre Phil Hassan. Leeds really should have put 6 points on the board there.
Harmon with that run, met by Perolini. That's going to be one of the clashes of this afternoon. Here now is Adrian Morley, and a little word about him. His brother Chris Morley is on the bench for St Helens this afternoon. This is Schofield, delays the pass to Tate, and Scott Gibbs with the tackle. Tate was finished off by Loughlin.
Well spotted by the Welsh player Scott Gibbs. Really is a great defender.
Neat little run from Milo, takes Leeds into the St Helens 20-metre area. This is Iro, who will dab the ball through for Fallon, and Fallon, he only had to fall on it to score, and fall on it he did. Fallon, I think, got the touch. He says it's my try, despite the fact that Iro was following up. The scores are level, and Leeds with the ideal riposte.
Good play from the hooker, James Lowes. Quick play the ball. You can see they were slow to respond in defence. Once it drew the man, it was a beautifully well-weighted kick. And what on earth was Sullivan doing there? He went for the man instead of going for the football. But it all came about from Lowes' run on the angle. They were slow to move up. Then when they came for him, it was a well-weighted kick from Kevin Iro. But you'll see Sullivan go for the man. He should have dived for the football. A bad mistake from hero to villain Anthony Sullivan. But let's take nothing away from Jim Fallon. The move was on, and he finished it off nicely.
He was cool and calm under pressure. Little side foot, just enough to take it over the try line, and he got the downward pressure on the ball with his hand. Good try for Fallon. Scores level at Headingley. Paul Cook now with the conversion attempt. 20 points, 2 tries and 6 goals against Warrington on Wednesday when he won the Man of the Match award. Here's another one for the future. Cook is only 19. But a man now very much for the present with this conversion attempt. He's just pulled it short of the near post. As you were at the start, all square.
Iro drags in 3, gets a kick through, and you can see that Sullivan's got to turn around, which gives Fallon that little bit of an edge. But he goes for the man, does Sullivan. He really should have just committed himself and tried to dive on that football.
Jim Fallon, 24 tries in 39 appearances last season, and that's his first of this campaign. Goulding restarts. No mistake from that kick-off by Mercer. He will run it back. Tries to get round Dwyer and Joint, but fails. Always one of the classic games of the season at Headingley when St Helens are here. Down the years it has produced some super football, and in 44 matches in the First Division, St Helens just have the edge. 23 wins to 19.
One thing you can be sure of, both these sides will play attractive football. There'll be plenty of tries and choke. They love to throw the ball around, both these teams.
Kick downfield, turns St Helens round. David Gibbons, he's learning his trade, isn't he?
There you see, you can get him a little pat on the back from the experienced Gary Schofield. He really is a talent, this David Gibbons. So often, over the past couple of seasons, we've seen youngsters come through that are full of confidence. It's all about the junior development schemes that all the clubs have these days. Augurs well for the future of our game.
There's some bright young talent coming through this centenary season. Gibson Busby. Dean Busby, his £90,000 transfer fee from Hull, settled by the tribunal this week. Bernard Dwyer, I think, has lost his gum shield there. Or maybe it was James Lowes. It's Lowes who picks it up as Goulding loops a pass over the top, and Hayes misses it. And Cook gets a foot to it, and it's a good job that Prescott's there, but the referee will pull them back for the knock-on, of course. Chance there for Leeds.
Well, the Leeds defence was up very quickly. You could see Phyllis Han had moved in. Bobby Goulding deciding to try to get the ball over the top. Not the best pass. Well, they're going through a little bit of nervousness at the Saints side. Raced away to a 4-point lead.
Leeds then in possession. Hassan finds Schofield. Schofield thought about giving it to Tate. Not quite on the same wavelength. He's on the same wavelength with Fallon, though. Good tackle by Prescott. And it's completed by Sullivan. Schofield, the dummy half.
Could have been caught then, Sullivan, for a second attempt, the flop.
I think that Fallon thought he was on his way, though. I don't think Fallon believed the tackle was completed. Mercer plays it to Lowes. And there's Gibbons, and he gives it to Familo. Bounces off Perolini. They make no progress there in that tackle, Leeds. Lowes to Schofield. The call was from Harmon. Schofield went for the return, just got a hand to it, flapped at it. Gibbons picked up the pieces. Lowes again. Mercer had to stop as he collected that pass. Here's Tate. Applies the brakes, loses the ball. Joint has it back for St Helens.
I think that was knocked out as well. Leeds were unlucky there. By the way, that's good defence there from Fallon. Pushes Scott Gibbs right out to the touchline. This is where Leeds, though, so often in the past have been caught. Quick play the balls, and the opposition gained so much yardage against them.
Great tackle that by Hassan. As soon as young Andy Hay got it, Hassan was onto him in a flash. Cunningham to Goulding. That hit a Leeds player, it's all on. The ball spinning nastily, but Tate picked it up. And Matautia completes the tackle on the Leeds full-back. Saints at Headingley, the scene of their victory last season in the First Division Championship. The only team to beat Leeds in the big league last term. Hoping to repeat it this time. And this time, Perolini was too quick in for the second snap. The tackle was completed that time.
They can see Perolini coming in far too late. Schofield quick to get on with the game. He realises that Leeds are shaky. Should I say St Helens are looking a little bit shaky now.
Just outside the St Helens 20-metre mark, with Lowe's to Farmilo. Bounces off the chest of Joint, who really hasn't started to show his true colours after his long summer with the Newcastle Knights in Australia yet. Schofield, back after the hernia operation in the summer, takes control again. Lovely ball to Tate. Tate drags Cook in on the inside. They've got support from Forshaw, and Forshaw's remarkable start to his career continues. But I think the referee has disallowed the try, has he? There's a debate going on behind the line.
I think someone went in late after the ball had been flipped back on the inside.
The try is given.
I think Paul Cook was taken out after he passed the ball inside, but Mike Forshaw, that was vintage Leeds stuff. Excellent play. 4 in 5 games for Mike Forshaw. Put this down to the combination of Schofield and Gibbons, the run around and the dummy runner. Look at that. That's great play. Back on the inside. Paul Cook did the right thing. Swings the ball and Forshaw goes through. Oh, and that's the incident there. It was very, very late. Super play this. They gave themselves a lot of space. Forshaw as a dummy runner, but he had the foresight to run down the middle and then support the man with the football, which was Paul Cook. That's the incident there where Bernard Dwyer went very, very late into the loose forward Forshaw. And it wouldn't surprise me. Well, he's not going to give a penalty underneath the post. That wouldn't surprise me if that would have been turned into an 8-pointer. It was very late on that man.
Forshaw with a try, Paul Cook then with the conversion attempt from far out. That's a good effort from the young winger. So Leeds have the lead now 10 points to 4, and St Helens get away quickly at the kick-off.
Well, this must be pleasing the new coach. Bell from New Zealand arrived only recently. He'll be happy with their performance, especially with the combination of the youngster David Gibbons and Gary Schofield.
Yes, they're combining well, aren't they?
Schofield looks in real confident form.
The reason I was slightly hesitant about whether the Leeds try had been given was the signal given by referee Stuart Cummins. He just held his arms out wide. But there's Dean Bell, alongside him Paul Fletcher, and the other side of him, although out of your picture there, is Hugh McGann, watching on as this Leeds team obviously in the mood to impress the new coaching regime.
The reason why the referee Stuart Cummins did hang on, he was waiting for the report from the touch judge to see whether it was an accidental knees that came through from Bernard Dwyer or whether it was intentional. If it had been intentional, that's when we would have got an extra 2 points in front of the sticks.
There's Bernard Dwyer, the man who was adjudged to have clattered the try scorer accidentally. Now Matautia trying to inject a bit of pace and power for Saints. Leeds are caught offside at that play the ball. But what a start for Mike Forshaw in his Leeds career. It's Hanley-like, isn't it? He has now got 4 tries for his new club. And the season's what, barely 3 weeks old? Terrific start for the Wakefield skipper of last season.
He certainly looks good onto it. Looks a lot fitter than what I've seen for a couple of seasons, but it was good to see how he was used there as a dummy runner, and he kept going in the support play.
That's good play from Chris Joint. He gets it away to Matautia. Matautia will run through, take and score. I wouldn't like to stand in front of Matautia and try and stop him. He comes at you like a double-decker bus. And Matautia, with his third try of the season, that was a try all the way.
Beautiful step from the big fella. The switch from Bobby Goulding, it was good. But what on earth was the centre, Phil Hassan, doing? Watch when he gets the ball. Hassan just turned inside out. Instead of committing himself to go towards the big fella, just a little shimmy and a step. Good play by Goulding. Joint gets the ball away. Good support play here. That is good play. But look at the step here. Oh, he just turned Phil Hassan inside out. Determination. Well, he was non-existent against Wigan last Monday, but he's come back with a bang. Full credit to Saints, they didn't panic. This is where it all counts, just keeping that ball alive. The second effort, hesitation in the defence. What a step for such a big man. Strength. Great try.
Great determination from Vila Matautia. Try in his first two games. And a try here in the Premiership semi-final last season when the Saints went under. A match that really they should have won. Goulding then. This to level the scores. Just had the legs. Good kick from Goulding. Has a little look over his shoulder at someone who was probably barricading in the crowd.
When the switch was on, you can see the Leeds defence on the blind side just hesitated enough. And when they were sucked in by the effort from Chris Joint, there was 4 Leeds players in attendance, but look at the way he just turned the centre Hassan inside out. That is a well-taken try. Well, we expected plenty of tries, and they're not going to disappoint us today.
Doesn't look like it. Andy Haig will now run this ball back at Isini Faimilo. Lachlan to Joey Hayes. And Eric Hughes, desperate for his men to get back on course. He was still quite shell-shocked when I spoke to him yesterday after Monday and the game against Wigan. Not the easiest place, of course, Headingley, to come and resurrect your season, but a 10-all after 18, nearly 19 minutes. It's a good start to what should be a classic encounter. And here's Lachlan again. He gets away from Iro, and Iro just got an ankle tap, and a good job too.
It was a try-saver. Lachlan had beaten Iro, all ends up. But the Kiwi came back. That's a wasted effort. Defused the bomb, back on the quarter. That was not a very good kick. Wasted effort. Like all wingmen should do, come back and help the full-back. Excellent position by Paul Cook.
And because he caught the ball behind his own try line, as Steve-O says, diffusing the kick through by Goulding, and so Leeds with a tap on their own 20-metre mark. That's why they're up now to halfway almost with Neil Harmon. Lowe's to Gibbons to Schofield. Schofield to Forshaw, who drops it, and Perolini swoops. Hassan's after him. Perolini shrugs him off, and a good job that Faimilo was there.
Well, that was a real mix-up in the Leeds attack then. 2 men going for the same football.
Matautia, a lovely ball to Haig. Haig stopped by Schofield.
There you see it. Both Cook and Forshaw going for the same football. One was supposed to run as a dummy runner, and I suspect it was Forshaw. A bad mistake by Leeds.
Joey Hayes picks himself up, plays it. It's now with Goulding. Goulding looking for Dean Busby. He finds Gibbs, and Gibbs drops it. Knock-on called.
The idea was there. It's a nice pass. Gibbs really should have got to that, but I suspect that the standoff, the Welshman was just stepping at the time when the ball was coming to him.
Scott Gibbs back in this St Helens side after 6 months out with a dislocated elbow at the end of last season. In the Welsh World Cup party, of course. Schofield isn't in the England party, something he wants to rectify as far as England coach Phil Larder is concerned. Iro, didn't he pick that up brilliantly from the pass by Cook? Look at the run, gets it away. Schofield stepping, St Helens hand to that, he'll pull it back for the knock-on.
It'll be a St Helens knock-on. A little bit of a risky pass in the first place by Schofield. Fullback Steve Prescott, fingertips to it. Leeds head and ball. Both sides just panicking slightly. It's a pretty hectic pace out there.
And that really reflected by the scoreline of 10 points all. This match is available to either of these two sides to win. Cook chased all the way by Loughlin and Sullivan. Good defence again from those two against Jim Fallon. Now Iro. Whoa, he stepped through Bernard Dwyer then. Forshaw. Oh, lovely play from Forshaw. Support streaming up, he mightn't need them. Forshaw passed it back, and here is Schofield. Hassan joins in the fun, tries to get the pass out wide to Harman. Harman retains possession, but Leeds, they're just overrunning the passes at the wrong moment. Here's Tate. Over the top to Fallon. Fallon gets away from Sullivan, gives it to Mercer. Good tackle from Dean Busby. Fallon again sweeps it off the floor to Gibbons. A hole for Tate. Off the foot and straight down the throat of Andy Hay.
Once again, not a good option. It was a very poor kick. But Leeds, superb run here from Forshaw. Through the dummy, throws another one. Schofield's streaming for the football. Back on the inside. That was great play from Leeds. But once again, we saw Phil Hassan ruin the move. Oh, he took his eyes off the football there.
Well, Dean Busby on his debut won't want to see this again.
You can't believe it. Busby there looking at the man coming towards him. It wasn't the best pass. It was pretty high, but top flight professionals should take those.
Well, he had a finger problem which has delayed his debut for St Helens. The loose forward is packing in there at the back of the scrum.
Well, oh, one against the head. Now that is quite...
Oh, referee's got them. Penalty against St Helens at the scrum. Foot up.
Well, that is very rare, isn't it? The hooker is caught for striking before the ball has virtually been fed into the scrum. Well, a rarity indeed. I'm just thinking about this Leeds centre, Phil Hassan. I'm sure that Hugh McGowan must be thinking very hard about his defensive qualities, also, and the fact that he's thrown 2 bad passes. It wouldn't surprise me if he makes another mistake that he could be off.
Here's Alan Tate. Oblique run from Tate, picked out by Scott Gibbs. Tremendous tackle from Gibbs. This is Mercer. Loughlin dumps him to the ground, but the referee has got St Helens for offside.
Never made any attempt, did the centre, Paul Loughlin. Centres in all codes of rugby league, they like to sneak up.
It was Harman on the charge and Bernard Dwyer with a tackle. Almost a try saver. Lowe's sweeps it into the arms of Faimilo. Big effort wanted again from this St Helens defence. Lowe's again. This is Gibbons who will switch the direction of the attack. Slid underneath the challenge from Gibbs. Now Lowe's again. Still Lowe's. He's such a strong lad. And he's just held up by Loughlin. Leeds probing for the opening. Gibbons to Schofield. He's round Busby. He's clattered by Matauti, but gets the pass away to Iro, to Tate, to Cook. Now, did he hit the corner flag first? No, the try is given. Paul Cook with the try. And that was a great sweeping move from Leeds, from one side of the field to the other.
They worked hard for this, did Leeds. The link was superb, but watch for Dean Busby commit himself to Gary Schofield. Couldn't get to him, and that's when the overlap was on. It wasn't the best pass from Kevin Iro. It looked as though Leeds had bombed another opportunity. But what finishing there by the winger, Paul Cook. He did well. There you see Goulding commits himself, but Busby goes on there. You've got to make your mark. It should have been a try easy if Iro had got the ball quicker, but as it turned out, and good play by Cook, he just dips the shoulder back inside, lifts the legs so that he doesn't trail and take out the corner flag. There you see Schofield creating it. He really took a big one there from Marlow. Beautiful play.
Paul Cook, he really is putting some pressure on, isn't he? The wingers Fallon and Cummins. Super try. Saints warming up their substitutes. And apparently he rang just in front of Paul Cook as he was lining up this conversion attempt. That's a great kick. Oh, Paul Cook. Well, I say he's putting pressure on Fallon and Cummins. He's in the side in the jersey worn by Francis Cummins, and he could take some shifting, Paul Cook.
There you see Dean Busby's committed himself, and he can't get to Schofield. The half circle means that there's one man out there. He has to commit himself to Iro. It was 3-on-1, long ball out wide and well finished. See how he just dipped the right shoulder to make sure that he went in enough to not take the corner flag. Excellent play.
16-10 then, Leeds ahead. Kevin Iro has been receiving treatment while that conversion was being lined up by Cook. Problem with the leg. Still out there. Jim Fallon with that little run. Harman, named in the England squad and has started this season very well indeed. Tall figure there of Adrian Morley, second rower. One of a crop of youngsters who I know Dean Bell is very excited about. But he also says he's got some quality players here at Headingley. And it's the quality players like Schofield and Lowe's who are doing the business for him today.
Well, there was a real knock there from Mike Forshaw, who I think used the elbow on his opposite number, Dean Busby, who's just had treatment. That's the kick into the corner. But Mike Forshaw really did use the elbow. Look at that. Now that should be picked up. That's the sort of thing that has to be picked up by the judiciary and looked at. That's why videotape should be given. That was bad play. Intent there. And Dean Busby very lucky indeed that he didn't break a jaw.
Yes, he has started off superbly in Leeds colours, Mike Forshaw, but that, well, that's the other side of the game, isn't it? We don't want to see that, Steve-o. It could have been so dangerous for Busby, as you say.
But we can't just let that lie. You cannot allow that to just be forgotten. It's the sort of thing that's creeping back into our game, and we don't need it. It's tough enough without that. That can put a man's career in jeopardy.
Lachlan is grounded. 8 metres inside his own half. It's now with Goulding, and there's Perolini. Cunningham, the dummy half. Matautia. Offside Leeds. Just straying up at the play, the ball, not getting back behind the referee. Look at him.
Never made any attempt. That's all about. That's brought about by the quick play the ball by Saints, and it was good refereeing by Stuart Cummings. He was already shouting to the 3 Leeds players, don't touch him. They did, thus the penalty.
And St Helens now in the Leeds quarter. Only the 5th penalty of the match. We've had half an hour. Goulding called for that on the blind side. There's the ball to Andy Haig. Andy Haig, who won a lesser grades double with St Helens last year. Academy and reserve team cup final win. But Chris Joint, I'm afraid, has a case of the dropsy there.
Well, it's as though he's left a little bit of grey matter down under. He really is not coming to. That's a swinging out from Dwyer. Well, the referee's seen this on this occasion. Swinging, crunch time, right over the top. You cannot make any attempt to attack the head of an opponent. Anything above the shoulders. Milo felt that one. There's a swinger. Crunch. Bernard Dwyer, the former hooker, of course, can't find his place in the number 9 shirt. Not surprising with the form of Kieran Cunningham. He's in excellent form, but it's nice to see Dwyer taking the prop spot. But we can do without that sort of play from him.
Lowe's to Milo. Iro has been withdrawn. We told you earlier that he had a leg problem, and so Francis Cummins has come into the action. Schofield drops it. The referee calls that as a knock-on. Well, so much great quality in this match, but also, Steve-O, a bit of that as well, schoolboy errors.
He won't like it. They got off to a flying start. There's Kevin Iro limping away. The Leeds camp knew it was a bit of a gamble to start with the big fella they call the Beast, but Schofield wouldn't be happy with it. Very lackadaisical with the run around with David Gibbons.
And of course, with Craig Innes out in the centres at the moment injured, Leeds might have a little problem in that area. And they're offside. They've got a problem in this area, just straying forward.
Well, that's the second occasion that Stuart Cummings has seen that they've made no attempt. It was...
They're 3 and 4 metres, Steve-O, offside.
Well, Philisan and Paul Cook, they've been getting up very, very quickly indeed. And I think this is the time that perhaps the patience of the referee Stuart Cummings might be tested.
Bernard Dwyer now on the attack. 5 metres short of the line. Van Milo foreshore there. Here's Goulding. Finds Scott Gibbs. He finds Loughlin. Loughlin finds Sullivan. 2 for Sullivan. Quick hands from Saints. Anthony Sullivan says, come on. 5 tries in the season for him now.
Well, the penalty that Leeds gave away put St Helens in a good position, but this is good play by Gibbs. See how he sucked in Fallon enough for Loughlin to send the winger out wide. Sullivan in for his second. The way that Scott Gibbs makes the little step, when he steps, you see how he goes through. Fallon hesitated. He was in no man's land. Once he committed himself to Loughlin, it was a clean run for Anthony Sullivan. Good play, good angle run there by Bobby Goulding. You saw the dummy runner go back on the inside, and it was enough to just make the Leeds defence hesitate. Well finished. That was a well-worked try.
Anthony Sullivan has done well at Headingley for St Helens and Hull Kingston Rovers over the years. That's the 6th try that we've seen today already. And Goulding knows that this difficult angled kick will draw St Helens level again. 33 minutes gone. 16-14, Leeds ahead. And they stay 16-14 ahead. Touch of drizzle here at Headingley, but it's doing nothing to dampen what is a magnificent match.
See the hesitation. Fallon has realised he's been sucked into the centre situation from Gibbs, and once Loughlin gets through to it, beautiful pass there by the centre Loughlin. Sullivan will be happy with that. He's in fine form.
Sure is. Hat-trick against Bradford on day 1. 2 tries against Leeds at home last season, and 2 tries here at Headingley today. News of Kevin Iro, by the way, he's got a kick on the shin. That's why he's off, and Francis Cummings is on for Leeds. What do you think of these quartered jerseys, Steve-O, for Leeds as they play in their centenary colours?
100 years, that's what I think.
I thought you were a fashion guru. What did you think of them in 1895 when you first saw them, Steve-O?
I like them without the collars then.
Perolini goes down in the tackle. Cunningham will scamper away and take Saints over the halfway line.
Good play by the hooker, Cunningham. That's what's needed. They were going to sleep a little bit, St Helens. That's got to be a penalty.
And it is. And Goulding gets on with it quickly. And he gives it to Andy Haig under pressure from Hassan, and Haig dropped it. There was a big gap for Andy Haig then, and he could so easily have shot through had he held on.
Well, what a wasted effort. Bobby Goulding caught the Leeds defence napping. Quick tap at the penalty. It was a beautifully timed pass, and the centre Haig couldn't hang on to it. Well, chances are going begging here. With the rain drizzling down, the ball will become even more slippier now.
Gibbons tries to get away from Cunningham, and Cunningham wrestles him to the floor. The Leeds public screaming that St Helens now are offside at the play the ball.
It's important that Leeds play out the full complement of 6, make sure that the ball is belted right down into the corner. Try to keep St Helens within their own quarter.
Last tackle here for Leeds, and Schofield will kick it deep just to turn them round. Waste a bit more of the clock up to the half-time.
Experience showing there. He gave himself plenty of space. Didn't come up quickly into the line. Didn't allow any chance of the St Helens players to apply the pressure. And Dean Bell looking very pensive there.
He hasn't had a smile on his face all afternoon yet.
Well, he'll be happy with a few things and disappointed with many others.
He'll be enjoying the weather though, Steve-o. It's very Auckland-like today at Headingley, isn't it? Silence is golden. This now is St Helens rolling forward again with Sullivan. Wrapped up by Mercer.
You amaze me at times, Eddie.
Loughlin. Cunningham's the dummy half. Goulding, Dwyer. Halfway line, Dwyer plays it to Cunningham. To Chris Joint. To Loughlin. Loughlin dabs it through with the outside of his boot. Joint's after it. Fallon wins the race. Bravery from Fallon. Body on the line.
For any youngster watching, he did it to perfection. He put his body between the football and the on-rushing players.
And he's got the penalty because of the flop. Well, there from Sullivan.
Well, that is schoolboy errors. Just lent with his knees, Anthony Sullivan. All that effort wasted.
Harman drives it up, but Dwyer stood his ground.
Well, Leeds have found a lot of gaps out wide with the quickly.
They're all offside. No wonder the crowd are going mad. Referee's got to pin them and has. Every one of the St Helens defensive line then was stood in front of Stuart Cummings.
Well, he waited for the advantage. There's about half a dozen in front of Cummings then. He's not forthcoming. Nice to see that Stuart Cummings playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, good refereeing from Mr Cummings. Waited for the advantage to show itself. There was none, so then he blew the whistle.
Well, they're in a good position now, Leeds. This is the combination of Schofield and Gibbons, perhaps.
There's Schofield, there's Gibbons, there's Schofield again. Long pass to Forshaw, who drops it, and it's picked up by Cunningham. And he will launch an immediate St Helens counter-attack. Trying to get away from Mercer, but couldn't do. Fallon came in to close him down as well. Prescott to Gibbs.
Well, another mistake from Leeds.
Here's Loughlin. Loughlin's shown up well this half. Made some good, strong runs into the Leeds defence. Gibbs, the dummy half.
It's the best I've seen Loughlin play for quite some time. But another Leeds error. Oh! They had the chance in Leeds to strike at the football. They didn't.
Did they ever? This is Andy Haig. Don't think there was anyone stood in front, and Leeds might have been penalised if a boot had got to that. This now is Busby! And Busby, no, he's not giving it. Busby thought he scored a try in his debut. The referee's wiped it out for the forward pass.
Good positioning by Stuart Cummings. He was right in there. He knew exactly what was coming forward, and he was right. Nice play from Bobby Goulding. Sucked in two defenders, and the debut boy for Saints, Dean Busby, thought he was in for 4 points. Vital 4 points as well, just before the half-time break. Confidence booster that would have been. Sure would have been. It was a line decision, but referee Stuart Cummings was in absolutely the right spot. Lows to Harman, who steps inside Perellini. Good play.
Perellini limping away.
Good play from the prop forward. Just steady things down now. They're quite happy to go into the half-time break with a 2-point lead. No point in just panicking.
Forshaw. Just slipped as he approached Bernard Dwyer. It's the last one for Leeds. Surely Schofield or James Lowes will kick this one deep, and that's exactly what he's done. Right into the corner. Sullivan's going to have to run it out. Fallon's there, and so too is Francis Cummings. That's the last tackle of the half. St Helens 16, Leeds 16, St Helens 14 rather at half-time. A blistering first half. We've had 6 tries, 3 apiece. Anthony Sullivan has caught the eye with his 2 tries. And hasn't Paul Cook done well also? Great try from him in the corner. He's added a couple of conversions too. Leeds ahead at the break. So a first half that produced 6 tries and a scoreline of 16-14 in Leeds' favour. The second half now underway, and it would be a brave man who would bet on the eventual outcome of this match. Two sides that love attacking, love scoring tries. Lowe's the dummy half, and is dumped to the ground by Gibbs. Now Gibbons just switching the direction of the attack, getting away from Chris Joint, but not away from the next two, Lachlan and Dwyer. Here's Neil Harmon. Harmon dragging Leeds to the halfway line. Schofield now clips the ball over the top and aims it towards the corner and finds touch. Just turns St Helens round.
Good kick by Schofield. You notice that he didn't kick deep right into the corner. He's well aware that at times the Leeds defence can often be caught out when they kick deep for the full-back. And with Saints full-back Steve Prescott in fine form, it's a good option that, to take the scrum. At least you can get your defence set up.
There's Gibbs, tackled by Schofield and Tate. St Helens unbeaten in their last 4 league visits to Headingley. Their last defeat in the First Division here in September 1990. So it's a great record they have in this particular part of the world, but they have to come from behind if they're to take the points today. In possession now with Goulding, and he finds Lachlan. Lachlan with some space, but that's a good tackle back. Great tackle by Francis Cummins. Here's Dean Busby. Been anxious to get into the swing of things for St Helens since he's moved down from Humberside. Goulding, a little chip over the top, read perfectly by Schofield. Schofield and Goulding, great pals off the field.
Big grin all over the face of Gary Schofield there. Dropped back into the sweeping position. He anticipated the kick well. Well, it's important for either side to take control of this game, is to ensure that you play out the full 6. A mistake within the 6 tackles puts pressure upon yourself.
Forshaw gets away from Perolini. That's a knock-on by Gibbons. Gibbons and Dwyer squaring up to each other. The referee, I think, will play first knock-on. That'll be head and feet to Saints.
Keeping the ball alive there, but it really wasn't on. Mike Forshaw should have seen that youngster Gibbons was being attended to. No point in passing the ball in heavy traffic. That's a mistake that Saints were looking for.
Good tackle by Adrian Morley. Here now is Busby. Cunningham, the dummy half, to Dwyer. But he didn't play the ball properly, Dean Busby. He's got to stand up and play it. Not like that.
Well, I'm not so sure that he wasn't helped down by David Gibbons. There you see, a bit of a push from the little half-back. Well, Busby won't be pleased with that. Neither will his coach, Eric Hughes. As Leeds who made the initial mistake, and now they find themselves at St Helens have copped up the football on the second tackle. Not the best thing for a coach.
Harmon with the run downfield for Leeds. Stopped by Haig and Gibbs. Here's Schofield and now Mercer. Mercer bounces off Perolini and Matautia. Couldn't get away from Dwyer. Lowe's to find Milo. Gibbs getting through a lot of work in the defensive tackling department, the St Helens standoff. Here's the Leeds standoff. Schofield to Forshaw.
Looks like Leeds have made a change. Adrian Morley's gone off. Can't actually see who they brought on at the moment.
Nick Fozzard who's come on as Schofield uses the foot, and it comes up with a try as the Leeds captain. It touched a St Helens player on the way through. A little wink from Schofield as he takes the appreciation from Lowe's. That was soccer skills by the Leeds captain there.
Well, it was our guest on Friday night, and Gary Schofield said he'd not given up any hope of getting back into the England or Great Britain squads in the future. Lady luck shone upon him there as he kicked it through. It came off the foot of Scott Gibbs. It had Steve Prescott on the wrong foot, But you make your own luck in this game. The idea was there. Unselfish piece of play by Schofield, but he got the bounce he needed. Quite happy to take the 4. And it's just the break that Leeds needed early in the second half.
Yes, it was the 1-2 with Gibbs. That's what they would have described it, I suppose, on Super Sunday in the soccer. But it was not what Scott Gibbs wanted. Bounced perfectly for Schofield, gets the try, and Cook adds the extras. 22 points to 14, Leeds.
Well, a fullback, Prescott, you can see he's racing across. He knows that the kick from Schofield's supposed to go towards the corner. And once it comes on back, you can see that he's had no chance there. He was wrong-footed. But full credit to Gary Schofield for following up on the kick. He didn't just stand back and watch what occurred.
Fozzard comes on for Morley of Leeds. We lose Adrian Morley, but we gain Chris Morley of St Helens. He has come on because he's replaced Dean Busby. So the brothers swap bench for bench. Phil Hassan in possession for Leeds. Now Gibbons rather. Swinging arm from young Chris Morley. Forshaw. These youngsters, Chris Morley, Phil Waring, who's also on the bench, and Andy Haig and Joey Hayes, all deserving their chance, says Eric Hughes, the St Helens coach. And he will try and blood them this season, in the centenary season. Meanwhile, the ball now is with one of the season campaigners, Anthony Sullivan. Good chase though by Leeds, led by Mercer. Here's Prescott.
Well, it's going to take a big game from Bobby Goulding from here on in. He really has got to try to lift this St Helens side.
Referee, I think, has spotted some blood somewhere and is calling the St Helens physio onto the field. Yes. Gushing from the eyebrow of Perolini.
Bit of New Zealand claret.
Thought he was Western Samoan. Do they have wine in Samoa?
Not as good as Cloudy Bay, perhaps, but...
He's in the blood bin, Perolini. So he goes off and Ian Pickavance jogs into the defensive line for Saints. Matautia gets the ball away, almost caught Joint unawares, and Joint swats Schofield off him. Great run from Joint. Pickavance in support.
That's better play. They really did have to lift their spirits, and with runs like that, that's what they needed.
Dwyer to Matautia again.
But as yet, we still have not seen Bobby Goulding inject himself. He's got to run at the defence. He's got to try to squeeze that opening out.
Cunningham looks at the referee, whose patience holds. Now then, he is Goulding, and he brings the substitute Chris Morley into it. But nowhere for Morley to go under pressure from Hassan. It's the turnover on the last tackle, and he is Cook. Cook's through. He's got Prescott to beat. He's got Sullivan after him too. And those two combine to bring the Leeds winger down. But he's rapidly gaining popularity at Headingley is Paul Cook. Gibbons to Schofield. Faimilo challenged by Pickavance. Lowe's to Tate. Leeds standing very flat. Tate looking for the opening. Chris Joint decides he will not discover it on that occasion. Fozzard, lovely run from Fozzard, that. Oh, he brushed Chris Joint aside. Nick Fozzard, 18 years old, Great Britain Academy International, and he's punctuated this match with another Super Leeds try.
He's a strong young boy. He ran with determination. It was not the best attempt to try to tackle him, They went far too high, and they paid the price. Good, strong run, though, from the youngster. Nick Fozzard, I've seen him play so many great games with the academy. But what on earth was the St. Helens defence doing there? They tried to swat his head off his shoulders. And this guy has got all the strength in the world. Get out of the way. Look at that. 3 players made no attempt to go low. And that is why the youngster has got the 4 points.
The moment he broke through the tackle, he had a big smile on his face because that's his first try in the big league for Leeds. Nick Fozzard, another one for the future for Dean Bell, the new Leeds coach. Excited by the youngsters, excited by the seasoned professionals, and he's getting a glimpse of both sides of the Leeds coin here today. Paul Cook then with this conversion attempt. That's the angle. He's deadly. Great kick from Cook. 28 points to 14, and it's suddenly swinging Leeds' way.
Well, the Saints' defence was there, but look at the determination. 3 men onto 1, all of them paying the price of going too high. And the youngster in for what could be a very vital try. Saints were desperate to get back into this game.
Oh, Mercer, the ball pops up, and Pickavans picks it up for St. Helens. Eric Hughes looking anxiously on still as Matautia tries to barge his way through, and he loses it. That's criminal so early in the tackle count. First from Mercer and then from Matautia, and they've lost it again here, Leeds.
And Tate, he has the ball jolted away from him. Well, the rain driving down hard, and on this very lush surface, it holds a lot of water, and the ball will be very slippy indeed.
Yes, it's a lush surface at Headingley. And there the ball comes out again. Well, I think that's what, 4 tackles in a row where the ball has spilled. Coach's nightmare. Must be very greasy. Must be like a bar of soap if what we've seen in the last couple of minutes is anything to go by.
Well, it's not fun and games for the players either. This is where the forwards should start calming things down a little bit. Tempers are running high, and that's a swinging arm from Bernard Dwyer. Harmon doesn't like it. Well,
and Dwyer disagreed with the decision as well.
I don't know why, he made a good hit. Well, the swinging arm is coming slowly but surely back into our game, and unless the referees put a halt on this, players are going to continue because they think they can get away with it.
Well, they can. They just got a word in their ear on that occasion. Bernard Dwyer being warned by referee Stuart Cummings, but he's still on the field. Now Fozzard again. Went without his legs. Joint had him downstairs then. And Scott Gibbs pushed him to the ground. Now Harmon again. Takes it up, despite the attention from those 3 players. And that's good defence from St. Helens, forcing the big prop forward back. And there's a right old ding-dong going on between Harmon and Dwyer at the moment.
We'll have to keep an eye out, will Stuart Cummings. This could really flare up. A few of the St. Helens players are having a few words to say to the opposition.
Lovely run from Forshaw, then to Tate, now to Schofield, who drops it. Well, Kieran Cunningham could have dropped on that because it came back off Schofield, not the St. Helens player. He obviously thought it had come back off a St. Helens arm or leg. As it is, Leeds still have the possession, and here's Fozzard again. Loughlin grounds him. Last one for Leeds with Mercer, and now with Schofield. St. Helens are stretched out wide. This is Tate. Tate gets it out, and there is another try, and this time for Paul Cook, his second. And that's a great Leeds try. A sweeping attack. They sucked St. Helens in on one side of the field, exposed them on the other, and Cook was in.
Good hard work at taking it down the right flank, and the link was superb. Hesitation there by Schofield was enough to make the defence hang off. And Tate just waited until he sucked in the defence. Paul Cook finished it off superbly. Mercer to Schofield. Look at the little dummy in the jink there. That was enough. Matautia went in, and once Tate had dragged in two of them, bang goes the 4 points. The delight on Paul Cook. He's had a fine game, but the masterful skills of Gary Schofield have been on display. Wonderful link from the full-back. Nice pass to the winger. That's what wingmen like to see. Open space. Schofield, he'll just hesitate, drag them through. You can see Matautia committed. And once Tate had gone across, that is excellent play.
Paul Cook with the third Leeds try in 10 minutes of this second half. His celebrations for the moment have finished, but now can he kick the extra 2 points? He's given it a chance. Just didn't quite have the distance this time. Oh, he's annoyed. 32-14, he needn't be. Leeds gradually taking control.
Well, there you see Tate running on the angle, and it's the dummy runner on the inside that makes them hesitate enough. Once he drags the two of them, beautiful try. Well worked. Leeds are really in top form at the moment.
Yes, they had a little stutter against Castleford, didn't they, on Sky Sports a week last Friday. And how different it would have been had they won that match. They would have been unbeaten in the big league.
Well, we knew that they'd be out to impress. The new coach, Dean Bell, had just arrived in from New Zealand. And I'm sure that Dean Bell will be quite happy with many things that's been on display. Especially the fact that the youngsters like this, Fozzard, keep coming for the football.
Lowe's grounded by the substitute, Chris Morley. Schofield, with all the time in the world, he just looked up over the top, saw there was a big space, pumped the ball into it. And Prescott slips on this green Headingley surface, and Schofield makes the tackle.
Just bounced back to top form, hasn't he, Gary Schofield? An operation on a groin in the off-season, and Leeds caught offside, not retiring the 10. James Lowe's the culprit on that occasion. But Schofield, to me, looks a lot sharper than what I've seen for quite some time.
Yes, he's revitalised, isn't he?
He put that kick in downfield and raced 45-50 metres to make the first tackle.
Well, there's a strict training regime on at Headingley now. Hugh McGann has started it, and Dean Bell will certainly continue it. They're out to make the Leeds team certainly more physically fit and mentally aware. And on the evidence of the last two meetings here at Headingley, on Wednesday against Warrington and this afternoon, those two are doing a fine job. Goulding, Bobby Goulding trying to wiggle his way over. So close, St Helens. Phil Waring has come on for the Saints, number 14. That's a great tackle, though, by Neil Harmon. Cunningham, Pickavance, side-footed through Pickavance. The Leeds man went without the ball. It's 6 to go. 6 tackles more for St Helens. They're in a great position here. Matautia, no stopping him from that range. His second. Well, they tried to put the grubber kick in, and it bounced back. Maybe off Gary Schofield, but it bounced back perfectly for Saints, and Matautia with his second try of this afternoon.
Well, they were asleep there. Kick through from Pickavance. Schofield made a real meal of it. That was play on, but good play by Steve Prescott. Runs the angle. When you got the big fella like Matautia coming in, he takes some stopping. Once again, we see the step. There was nothing that Alan Tate could have done. Tate was far too high anyway. But Gary Schofield, well, he was a hero with a kick and some neat passes to create tries earlier in the game, but he's certainly given one away on this occasion. Beautiful pass by Prescott. Crunch time. Saints not out of it yet. Plenty of time.
Now Matautia is deadly from that range, just 4 or 5 metres. He strode over the line, nothing that Tate could do. So from bang in front, Bobby Goulding. 1 from 3, now it's 2 from 4. And is that the springboard for Eric Hughes and St Helens to get back in this match? 32 points to 20. So the gap now, just 2 converted tries for St Helens. A quarter of the game remaining. The match is not over yet. Anything can happen because St Helens, they can score tries from all over the place. Sullivan on a hat-trick, so too now Matautia, of course, after that try. That will give the Saints some hope, Steve-O, their supporters and their coaches alike.
Well, if my mind serves me correctly, I think it was a couple of years ago that Saints came back after Leeds had gone to quite a convincing lead here at Headingley. They will not throw in the towel. There's plenty of time, as you can see there, left on the clock.
Goulding, outside of the foot, dabs one through. And Tate is there who slips on. Tate almost in all sorts of trouble. The green grass of home.
Well, it looks pretty, does this turf. And I tell you what, it's going to create a lot of problems when the rain comes in. It didn't Phil Waring come bouncing in. Just a little bit slow getting to the position. Raises the arm and says, sorry fellas.
So close, St Helens. That will lift them again. Pick a Vance. Steps through one challenge, steps through two. And Fallon had to recover with Lowers to bring him down. This is joint. St Helens have got the sniff of something here.
Well, Leeds can't just go to sleep.
Goulding running the angles. Loughlin! He's got it over the line, I think, but he's dropped it. Loughlin says, look at the touch, judge, have a word with him. But the referee's made his mind up.
He never had control, he lost it. You have to be deemed to have full control of the football, and he lost it there. Well done, touch judge. Well done, in-goal judge. No doubt, he lost control.
But how interesting that might have been. And Dwyer has hit someone else, and he could be on the way. Red card for Dwyer. Just what they didn't want. Fozzard, the man who felt it. And the referee, Stuart Cummins, no hesitation then, went to the back pocket, red-carded Dwyer, and he is off. And Saints up against it now, down to 12 men.
That is what they did not need. A lack of concentration, the youngster going through, and that was malicious. Well done by Stuart Cummins. There was never going to be any hesitation. I could see the arm going into the pocket for the cards. The red one comes out.
Harman trying to run all over the top of Scott Gibbs, and he got a knee in the back there for his pains.
I think you'll find that it was Matautia that came in pretty late as well. Oh, Goulding went for the intercept, just couldn't grasp it.
He just knocked the ball down from Schofield's delayed pass. If that would have hung on, it was try time.
Gary Schofield was, he looked to the skies and says, thank you. He really didn't have to get that ball away. It was well read by Bobby Goulding.
Neil Harman is down and receiving treatment for that knee in the lower back that he received just a few moments ago. He's out of the scrum at the moment. This is Alan Tate now. Loughlin has gone off and Northey has come on. Loughlin taking a knock as he went over for that no try just a few minutes ago.
I think you'll probably find that Loughlin has winded himself because both his arms were attended to by the Leeds defenders, so the entire body would have fallen onto the football.
Schofield, little chip over the top looking for Cook. St Helens fullback Prescott is chased downfield by Schofield, the kicker. Great defence.
Well, he really is back in fine form. A new Gary Schofield, the new determination, the kick, the chase. Certainly made up for that bad mistake that led to St Helens' last try.
Tate feels the dropout on halfway. Eventually is closed down. Leeds in total control of this second half, 60 to 40. But Gary Mercer going without the ball.
Bad mistake there from Mercer. He knows that at this point in time, with a 12-point lead, just calm things down. St Helens on a little bit of a roll at the moment.
Goulding darts out from the base of the scrum. Thought about passing the ball inside. So Sullivan thought better of it. And then Goulding was bundled into touch, but the tackle was already completed, so it's a St Helens penalty.
As soon as the hand of the Leeds players touched Goulding whilst he was on the ground, that constituted the tackle. Once the hand went on it there from Fallon, you can't lift him up and throw him away. They're allowed 2 attempts at it. Well spotted by the referee.
That's Chris Morley playing it to Cunningham, who finds little Phil Waring. Well, the 12 men of St Helens still not giving up the ghost. Joint to Pickavance. Good tackle by Mercer. Joint to Prescott. Taken in by Lowe's.
People thought it was a trip, but he had both hands on the body first.
The grubber kick through by Goulding is well fielded by Gibbons.
Now then, was he grounded?
Yes, he was.
This will be interesting. Did that constitute? No, he got up in time to David Gibbons. Would have been better served to have just stayed down.
Good play from Pickavance following the kick through.
You could definitely see on the replay that the youngster Gibbons tried very hard to get back off the football. Off the ground, should I say.
Joey Hayes started off the season with a real bang against Bradford. Belligerent little winger he is. And here's Scott Gibbs. Scott Gibbs, a gap's open for Gibbs. He's going to scamper in. Gibbs with the try. That's breathtaking individual effort from the Welsh international. They hung off him, Leeds, and it was absolutely fatal. And Gibbs was through the gap and had the strength and the pace to hold off Alan Tate.
Wonderful individual try from the Welshman Gibbs, but you could see that the Leeds defence held off. Oh, it was a nothing attempt there from Harmon and Mercer. And St Helens are back in the game. There's an old saying, you never put the cue on the rack when the colours are still out on the table. And I have the impression that Leeds thought that they were home and dry here. Not as far as this guy was concerned. That is a great try.
So Goulding here with this conversion really could put Saints back in the hunt for the match. He's missed it. What a moment to miss a kick like that for Bobby Goulding.
4 Leeds defenders and they never get a finger to him. And soon as Gibbs straightens up, look at that. There was barely an attempt in defence. Great try, but what a tragedy that Bobby Goulding has failed to add the 2 points. A vital 2 points at this time.
Scott Gibbs looking on as Leeds just trundle up to halfway. They're in no hurry whatsoever to get this game restarted. They know the gap is just 8 points. It should have been 6 because Goulding should have kicked that conversion. And isn't it amazing when a team goes down to 12 men, very often it is the signal, as Mick Shaw comes on for Leeds, it's the signal for the players left out on the field to dig deep into their reserves.
Well, it was a desperation situation when you lose a talented player like Bernard Dwyer, as he'd worked hard in the forwards, thrown all that away with silly action, with a swinging arm.
Waring gives it to Prescott. Then out wide to Joey Hayes. And Joey Hayes is almost through, and it's a good job that Gibbons held hold of him.
That's got to be a penalty. The little halfback, David Gibbons, well, he's given it as a knock-on. I think, in my book, that Gibbons got the little arm and pushed it through. There it is. He pushed it away. I'm not saying that little Joey Hayes had full control of it, but he definitely got away with that, David Gibbons. Watch the arm. Crunch time.
Leeds are back in possession with Cook. Another try from Leeds, and you get the feeling that St Helens will be totally deflated. But at the moment, with 10 minutes to go and 8 points the gap, they're still very much in the hunt, despite the fact they're down to 12 men. Bernard Dwyer sent off.
This is where Gary Schofield should take over. Control things. Bring on the forward. Say, come on, one out. Take it steady. And then let me have the kick. I'll get it downfield. He'll be telling his charges to make sure that the chase is a good one.
Here's Schofield now. He finds Faimilo. Faimilo with a lovely jinking run. Forshaw is there. They've missed him. Cunningham got to him, but he got the pass away to Mercer. And out wide to Cummins. And Cummins with the try for Leeds. And is that the signal that the St Helens fight back is over?
Well worked try. Good work from the forwards. Schofield bringing back in Faimilo on the angle. Skipped inside out. Good work. Mike Forshaw, he's had a good game. Good support play. Mercer out wide. Well taken by the substitute Francis Cummins. This is really well worked. The experienced pass on the inside. But look at the step there from Faimilo. Three quarters would be happy to possess something like that. The balance there of Mike Forshaw was enough to keep the ball alive. That is a well-worked try.
So Francis Cummins with the try. And St Helens, well, a brave fight back, and I wondered if now it will all come to nothing. Cummins in 14 because Paul Cook is the man wearing number 5 at the moment. The jersey that over the past season or so Cummins really has made his own. This fellow is playing so well at the moment and kicking very well also. But not that time. 36-24, it's still 2 converted tries now.
The reverse pass from Schofield. You can see that the Saints defence is a little bit slow to fill in that gap, and it's enough for the big fella to go through. That was sheer skill. Remember, that is a prop forward for Milo, doing 2 wonderful sidesteps. Great try.
Fallon unable to field the kick-off from Bobby Goulding at first attempt. It went behind him, and he gets it second attempt, but then drops it. And so St Helens come forward again with Cunningham.
Well, another knock-on as well. It was Fallon on that occasion, and Cunningham has been deemed to have lost the football there. It was Hassan that put his body on the line, that jolted the ball free.
Both sides surrendering possession there on first tackle. Hassan now gets away from Gibbs. Good run from the lead centre. Started somewhat shakily, Phil Hassan, but he's grown in stature as this game's gone on.
Did well to the fullback Alan Tate there. He was thinking about getting the ball away, but he knows that possession is vital now. Hard work, that's what they need now at Leeds.
Mick Shaw. Tackled by Matautia and by Morley. The dab through. The chase for Cummins. The ball wins the race. But it's the right side of the corner flag, and Schofield has a little smile to himself.
And why not? Should be well pleased with his effort. Led by example. He knows that the kick into the corner put them in a great position, and with wet conditions the mistakes have come fast and furious.
That was Northey's run for St Helens. This now is Joint.
Really hasn't got into the swing of things since his return from down under.
Oh, Gibbs. Big blunt. Oh, the referee said that went backwards. Well, that's debatable.
Well, I think there was only 2 on the ground that said that that was not a knock-on. That was the referee Cummins and Scott Gibbs himself.
Northey out wide to Sullivan. Pace ahead for Sullivan. Good tackle by Fallon though. Sullivan saw the hat-trick beckoning then. He's injured. Meanwhile, Northey pops the ball back to Goulding. Goulding gives it to Morley. And then Morley loses it. And Schofield is dragged back. The referee will call it as the knock-on.
What a great tackle from Alan Tate. Put his body on the line. Crunch time. The impact gets the ball away. They play the knock-on. Schofield looks to be in a bit of pain. He's got a bit of a massage there from the big fella, Pickavance. The Pickavance's leg underneath his back, or a twist of the knee. Maybe the ankle just got twisted.
Painful, whatever it was. But he's limping his way back into line now. The Leeds captain, Mercer. Less than 4 minutes to go now. And Leeds, after that scare about 5 or 10 minutes ago when they got St Helens back into the game, they look as though they might be home and dry now. And here's the man who created the clinching try, Assini for Milo.
Seamus.
Nick Shaw. Lovely little kick over the top from Shaw, and clobbered by Sullivan.
It was a fair tackle. He got him on the shoulder. But lovely skills though from the substitute, Mick Shaw. He's a talent. It looked a lot worse than what it was. The first impact was on the shoulder, but Shaw is still down receiving treatment. He's on his way now. A little bit groggy. They swung him round there, but I don't think there was any swinging or intent. It was more of a grab onto the shirt, but the impact was on the shoulders. There was never any doubt in Stuart Coventry's mind.
St Helens, meanwhile, have got a penalty themselves. That's why there is booing all round the ground. Goulding has dumped the ball into the Leeds half, and the referee wants a word with Nick Fozzard. It's a cut, I think. Yes, blood pumping from the right eyebrow. So Fozzard's in the blood bin, and Marcus Vasilakopoulos comes on for Fozzard. Well, he's had a cut on his right eye, but he's also scored his first try in Leeds colours today. A mixed bag for Nick Fozzard. Two minutes to go. Pickavance attacking down that left touchline for Saints. Cunningham getting on with it quickly. Goulding fumbles. That ball did go backwards. He escapes the clutches of Fallon. And he can get away from Milo. But then Vasilakopoulos is there to bring him down. And the ball was stolen. Bobby Goulding taking a quick tap penalty, trying to catch the Leeds defence off guard. He dabs it through, and Vasilakopoulos is equal to the task.
Now, what on earth did Bobby Goulding do that for? It was the first tackle that had been completed. They had 5 more attempts. Well, it's a rush of blood there. He didn't need to do that. Perhaps he realises that with less than 2 minutes remaining, they've given up the ghost.
Here's Tate. Last one for Leeds. They're still on their own 20-metre mark. Schofield thumps it downfield. Prescott moves across.
Nice bit of footwork from the fullback, Steve Prescott. He's tried hard, but none harder than the talented Gary Schofield. He's had a fine game. He's worked hard. He's back to his best. He's been the little general out there. He's controlled things.
Andy Northey. Cunningham. Goulding. Schofield took the dummy. Pickavance. Pickavance with 17 on his back, and giving Eric Hughes here, since he's been on, a gentle reminder that perhaps he's worth a place in the starting lineup.
Well, I think so. Since he's come on, he's shown a lot more effort.
Penalty against Schofield.
He'll get in the sin bin for this. Professional foul. He can't take it until Gary's off. See, Gary? There you see. That is stupid play. Well, he's had a fine game, and he's marred it by that silly bit of play. Schofield having a few words to say to Stuart Cummings.
Memory serves that Gary Schofield was sent off for the only time in his career in that Premiership semi-final against St Helens.
Well, I don't know what they're complaining about. It was a professional foul.
The referee's quite right.
It was stupid.
Silly thing for Schofield to do. Mars a near perfect afternoon for him. Matautia, well, what a roughhouse this fella is. How close is that?
He's lost it, that's how close it is. He attempted to try to get it over, and in his attempt and reaching out, the ball spills away. You can see the left arm come through. Quite a few in attendance.
Well into stoppage time. Leeds have got the points, and they will be thinking here at Headingley, if only they had won at Castleford. Vasilakopoulos tried to get the ball away, and the challenge from Loughlin was overwrote from the substitute. Chris Morley, I should say, was far too robust.
Frustration, the swinging arm. There's no real intent into it. It was a grab on the shirt and swing over the top. It's been a frustrating day for the Saints. We expected so much from the men from Knowlesley Road.
We expected so much. They have contributed to a fine game, but a game that has ended very much in Leeds' favour. Mick Forshaw has had a fine start to his Leeds career, and it was Forshaw with the try in the first half that cemented a 10-4 advantage for Leeds. Sullivan with 2 tries in defeat. He won't be happy with that, and I'm sure that Leeds will take great encouragement from this victory. But what will it do to the St Helens season, bearing in mind what happened on Monday against Wigan? The youngsters are there though in all their glory for Leeds, and they've won 36-24. Victory by 36 points to 24, 7 tries to 5, Cook with 2, Fallon, Forshaw, Schofield, who looks back to his best, Fozzard and Cummins, and Paul Cook kicked 4 goals. Plenty for the crowd of 12,000 to cheer about, and in particular the performance of their loose forward, Mike Forshaw. Well, Mike, well played. You appear to be settling in nicely here at Headingley.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Every game I'm getting used to playing with people like Gary Schofield and Tony Kemp. Obviously he's not played today, but I'm sure whenever he's fit we'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, you're wearing the number 13 jersey, of course, vacated by Ellery Hanley. 4 tries in your first 5 matches. It's Hanley-esque.
Yeah, at least like I've started off where Ellery left off. When I come here they all said you be getting changed at the Legends peg, so I've got something to live up to, I think.
Do you feel any pressure because you're in that jersey?
No, not so ever. There's not many players can follow Ellery Hanley. I don't feel any pressure, and the fans shouldn't feel any pressure. I'm just doing what I'm told to do.
I suppose the feeling in the dressing room will be, if only you had won at Castleford now.
Yeah, we know we let ourselves down badly at Castleford. We came back on Wednesday, we beat Warrington. Today we beat St Helens side, what was probably smarting from the defeat off Wigan last week.
But you feel, honestly, that you are on the verge of something big here with the new coaching regime that's in place?
Oh yeah, especially Dean's here. We've been working with Hugh McGann, he's been doing a tremendous job. Now Dean's here for a bit more spark in the team. I'm sure we'll go better strength to strength.
Paul Cook, you're one of the new breed of Leeds players here, one of the youngsters settling in, and you're having a great start to the season, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I played in the Charity Shield, and then Francis Cummins, Craig Innes was in Australia, so Francis Cummins back on the wing, where he's had 2 good seasons, and then I sub against Sheffield and Castleford, and then all of a sudden you picked the team on Tuesday morning for the Warrington game, and he put me on the wing instead of Francis Cummins. So Doug Lawton never used to give me the chance. What I needed, he used to have a good game, but then you'd come to the training session, you'd have the same team. You could say it in your head, in your sleep. So Hugh McGann's put me on the wing. I played Warrington, I scored 20 points, which is fair enough. It's a good start. I thought, well, take game as it game, and I come on here today and I scored another 2 tries, and I just want to try and keep my place and make a name for myself in this Leeds side.
Well, 20 points against Warrington, 2 tries against St Helens, plus all the goals you've kicked today. You're doing yourself no harm.
No, I just want to keep up. I don't want to get carried away. I just want to keep with this Leeds side. Like you said to Mike Forshaw, it's time for big things here. Wigan, all right, they beat St Helens comfortably last week, but we've got a few injuries. We've beat them quite comfortably, so hopefully we can kick on from here and take it through the season.
Well, Dean, I suppose that will do for starters.
Yeah, quite happy with the win today.
The fact that you were here in the stand, do you think it gave any greater impetus to the Leeds players?
Oh, well, obviously only arriving yesterday, I didn't have much to do with the team. But I don't know, the new coach being here maybe sort of kicked some of them into action. But, you know, full credit must go to Paul Fletcher and Hugh McGann for the way they've handled the team without me.
I know that you've been in sort of constant touch, haven't you, on the telephone? The phone lines have been buzzing between here and New Zealand. They've been keeping you informed.
Yeah, they certainly have, but it is difficult when I've been so committed to the cause at the Warriors, because, you know, we only got knocked out last week. So it's good to get here now finally and have a hands-on role.
Now, the expectation on the terraces is enormous here, as you well know. I mean, what can you say to the Leeds public?
Well, my expectations are very high too, Eddie, and so you know, every week I go out, and whether it be as a player or a coach, I mean, I go out to win. So I expect a lot out of my team, and they'll get the rewards if they work hard enough. But yeah, the faithful have just got to stick by us. It's not going to happen overnight, but you know, we've got the nucleus of a great side, and maybe with 1 or 2 additions that we can really kick on and give Wigan a chance for knocking them over.
I know when I spoke to you earlier in the week, you said you were excited about the youngsters you've got here, but you've got some great players already in the camp, haven't you?
That's right. I mean, you know, you just can't go on youth. There's some great experienced players, like, you know, Gary Schofield showed today what he's capable of, and many more. So, you know, we had a few players out today too. You know, we're missing a couple of internationals. So, you know, full credit to the guys that come in and done a good job for us. There's
one club, of course, on everybody's mind in this game, and that's Wigan, and you know what makes Wigan tick. Can Leeds overtake them, do you think, in years to come?
Well, that's why I'm here. I mean, you know, if you want to be successful in the English League, you've got to beat Wigan, and I don't want to get sort of caught up in for that being the only thing. But obviously, they've set the standards for everybody else to follow, and hopefully we can do it.
And you're looking forward to your first week on the training field?
Yeah, certainly. It'll be good to get out there, but it'll be a bit strange because I threw the boots away last week, so it's going to be strange to be in the other role. But looking forward to it.
The statistics behind the scoreline now, and Leeds in overwhelming control each half. They made 122 tackles, St Helens 136. 18 scrums, 9 apiece, 19 penalties, 10 of them to Leeds. And the handling errors, St Helens made 13 to Leeds 9. So a good start for Leeds under the control of new coach Dean Bell, and he watched from the stands and saw great performances from young and old alike. But Steve-o, what's the major lesson that Dean Bell has taken from this match?
Well, he'll be happy with the win, that is obvious, but he's a realist, and I think that he'll understand that there is still a long way to go with this Leeds outfit. It'll be pleasing for him to think that Gary Schofield is back to great form again. He's kicking and chasing. He looked at a new man out there. Their attack is very, very good. They can score tries from anywhere on the field, but their problem has got to be defence. They've got to work hard at that, and there's no man better to give it to them than Dean Bell. He knows over the experience of years with Auckland, of course, and with Wigan, that defence wins you the games, and he'll work very, very hard in that department.
And what on earth do you think we can say about St Helens? This time last week they were buoyant, a hammering against Wigan, and now a heavy defeat here against Leeds.
Psychological is their problem. I think they've got to start working hard on that. They really have lost the plot. I was very pleased when they made Bobby Goulding the captain of St Helens. I thought that he would lead by example, and I thought he would be the reason why Saints would really push Wigan all the way. I've changed my attitude. The quicker they take the captaincy off Bobby Goulding, the better. He has just not got himself into his old playing style. He's not attacking the defence. He's not the bubbly Bobby Goulding that we know. Take the captaincy off him and he may get back to his best again.
Well, that's the story of the match here at Headingley.